the way that I got to the NFL was this technique I'm going to show you. The way that I got in front of Range Me, the CEO of ECRM, was this technique. The way that I got to Supplier Gateway to broker that deal was this technique. I don't use supplier diversity for most things. I just want you to know I teach it because there are women who need it. They need to understand it. But truthfully, you need to understand both worlds. This is the other world. First thing I want you to do is I want you to create a top 5 target list. Who are the big companies you really, really want to get in front of? You have to start there. Your GPS can't take you to a destination if you don't have a target. Where are you going? That's the first thing. Now that you have your top 5 target list, I want you to go to LinkedIn and I want you to do a search that looks like this. Let's say that one of your top 5 was Coca-Cola. You're going to go to LinkedIn. You're going to watch my screen. You're going to type in Coca-Cola right here. These are my best strategies. I hope you watch it. I charge a lot of money for this. You're going to type in Coca-Cola. When you type in Coca-Cola, the next thing you're going to do, see these tabs right here where it says people, post, companies? You're going to then type company. See that? That's the second thing you do. So again, build your top 5 list. Go to LinkedIn. You're going to search for each one. Assuming Coca-Cola is on that, you're going to follow my next steps. You're going to type in company. Now, you could type in people, you could type in posts, but we want to see Coca-Cola company. Why, Dawn Nicole? Because when you type it, the next thing is going to come up. It looks like this. Are you following them? So if they're on your top 5 list, the very next thing you need to do is put them right in your schematics, right? Your algorithms. How? By following them. Don't be one of those people who are targeting a company, but you're not even positioned to have any insights. You need to follow them so you can start getting posts, insights, and more. So now that you click the follow button, and you can see when I did this, I was already following them. You're going to hit follow. Here's the next thing you're going to do. Now, watch this. When you type in Coca-Cola and you hit companies, ladies, you're going to see many results. Like there's 200 results under Coca-Cola. Which one do you want? So assuming, let's just say, assuming you're in food and beverage, or you sell products, for pretend for this scenario, I'm going to go with the first one. So I'm going to click Coca-Cola. When I click it, here's what opens up. Look at the right side of the screen. This comes up. So watch my steps. I just clicked Coca-Cola, then the company came up. So now the food and beverage division of Coca-Cola comes up. What do I do next? Do I go to their homepage? Nope. Do I go to About Us? Nope. Do I go to Posts? Nope. Do I go to Jobs? Definitely not Jobs, because I'm a business. Do I go to Life? No. I go to People. Why? Because the name of this slide is called Key Decision Makers. If I was teaching you something else, I go to the Posts, right? So now, since I want people, and people are the decision makers, I'm going to click on People. When I click on People, I get thousands of results. One of those results is Victoria. Check this out. Victoria is the director of equipment and innovation. What now, Dawn Nicole? So first, let me pause and tell you this. This is why you have to know who buys your stuff. But in order to know who buys your stuff, you have to know what you do. And before you know what you do, you have to know what your main thing is, right? So for pretend, let's just say that I'm in the construction industry. I'm an equipment leaser. I'm an equipment supply. And so Victoria is the perfect person that I want to get in front of. Now, you have to, when you do this search, who are you looking to get in front of? So we're going to, for pretend, come off mute. So we're going to come off mute, and I want to hear, based on your industries, taking a big company like Coca-Cola, who would you talk to? So Chef Maria, who would you, for what you do, which is DEI training and speaking and more, who do you want to talk to at Coca-Cola? What title is that?
It's probably HR or L&D.
Okay. So for Chef Maria, okay, Kimberly John Burns, who are you trying to get with at Coca-Cola based on what you do?
Probably would need to speak to someone in procurement.
Okay. Now, let's think through this for a second. I want y'all to know that procurement's only job is to take the bids that someone else already has, and just put the bids out. So you might not need procurement because procurement's job is just to do this with bids. They are agnostic. They don't care. See that? See how we got to think. Remember, put our supplier diversity hat over. Now I want you to think about good old fashioned people. Remove the pitching part for a second and be human and curious and think, oh, if I could meet someone who could further my business that I could learn from or share something with for what I do, who would that be? Tell me what you do again, Kimberly John Burns. Let's figure it out as a team real fast.
Okay, so I help employees create budgets that are a blessing, not a burden. So I help them so they don't have to live check to check, paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, so like with this CFO. So let's just kind of talk this through. Let's walk the dog here. All right. So the CFO, the chief financial officer, or someone in accounting, would they have an interest if you had a program that helped their employees better manage their money? Would that be a nice conversation for you?
It would. It would.
Ah. Oh, well, look at us being human and putting the pitching to the side and being like, you know what? And that's the thing, Kimberly, what I'm being funny here about is that really, watch this. What if we removed the word pitch and we replaced it with piquing curiosity? Like y'all better snap it
Come
up.
on now. Yes.
Listen, because let me tell you, this is where we get hung up. This is the thing that no one tells you. You don't have permission to pitch until you've been invited. Otherwise, you're a pest. It's not pitching. Think about this for a second. Even pitch competitions are inviting you to pitch. It's an invite. Even when you're on an elevator, you're still being invited. Someone says, tell me what you do. But if you just pitch first with no invite, it's being a pest. So what if we change our thinking and we go back to being really human with this thing? And we say, you know, what if I could just pique curiosity again through polite conversation? So then, Kimberly, I love what you said to me, because when you talked about helping employees better manage their money, oh, the accounting department and HR would love to talk to you about a program that helps employees with money management and budget management. That makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense to me too.
Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, now we're thinking differently. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Was that helpful, Kimberly?
Yes, it was. It really was. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And then I'm going to actually tell you the words I use when I send the invite, which is golden. I'm telling you, it's golden. So we'll talk about that in a second. But who else? I want to hear from some more people. So you're talking, you get ready to talk to Coca-Cola. Teresa Tidwell, travel and all the wonderful stuff you do. Who do you need to talk to? Who do you think you would talk to at Coca-Cola? Do you know Teresa Tidwell?
I would talk to someone in human resources.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me, we're not wrong. We're walking it out as a team. Tell me what you're after. What are you thinking when you say
someone in events, corporate events.
Oh, well, guess who I think you need to talk to then? Oh, here's what I'm thinking. So who plans the events in corporate? Is it HR or is it someone's executive assistant?
Executive assistant.
Oh, well then, okay. Awesome. So it sounds to me like the people who are planning the events management team, Teresa, it sounds like the executive assistants who are tasked with creating fun events, creating group tours and things like that. That would be a sweet spot for you, right?
Yes, it would.
So now if we go back to this slide, for you, who Teresa's looking for is different than who Kimberly's looking for, than who Donna Cole's looking for. See how this works?
Yes, awesome.
Awesome. All right, let's see. Keisha Bass, you know I'm gonna pick on you for a second. Keisha, can you tell us who you might be looking for at Coca-Cola? And that's if you haven't stepped away from the desk. I'm just assuming you're connected. If not, I am curious to hear from Christy too. So Christy, who might you be looking for at Coca-Cola for what you do?
Yeah, for me, I would be looking for the chief people officer, chief talent officer, CHRO, anybody in that HR people-y space.
Okay. Now,
or even to CFOs.
Yes.
Them too. Yeah.
So before you say anything, Christy, I agree with you on the CFO. You all, why do you think Christy just said the CFO? Why is the CFO really a good idea for anything? Who can tell me? I learned this a few years ago in sales. I'm just curious. Who knows why connecting with the CFO could be really good for you, no matter what?
They're
You-
control the
Connected to the
money.
budget.
Connected to the budget. Okay, what else? That's one. That's one obvious one. But what else? Anyone else know? Taja, I see the wheels turning. She eats sales for sleep. This is her. Taja, what are you thinking right now?
So the CFO is probably one of the closest people to the CEO. They are the ones that have the CEO's ear pretty much at all times, either
Yes.
the CFO or the COO, which I would strongly encourage you to also add the COO as someone that you would be wanting to identify.
Yes. Awesome. Very, very good perspective. So here's what I learned, you all. I learned years ago that out of all the C-suites, out of the CTO, the CHO, the CHRO, all these C-suites, the CFO is the least engaged. That guy gets no love. Nobody emails him. Nobody checks on him. Like out of all the C-suites, this is what we learned in the sales course one time is that the CEO is always getting hit up naturally. The COO is getting hit up. The HR person is getting hit up, right? But the CFO is just left in the corner, right, by himself. And so they're so thrilled. And I put this to the test so I know it works. They're so happy when they see a piece of mail come in or anything for them that they're on it because they get no love. So this was a technique that I was taught. Then I tried it for a major company, a South Carolina-based company, and it worked. And me and the CFO had a great relationship. And then he connected me in the door to all the names I needed to connect. There you go. That's a pro tip. So good. So Christy, anything else before we jump?
So the other one that I also do try to align with are the procurement officers as well, because they give me some inside information as to what the process is, if they have the limits of authority of before it has to go up the chain to who has to sign what. So it allows me to make sure I get the right people in the room up front before, getting too far down the path.
So, okay, so let's go back to what Christy said. So Christy's focus for talking to the procurement officer is a little different than her focus for building the relationship with the actual person, because the procurement officer is sort of the gatekeeper from what I'm hearing you say, Christy, and you want some intel before you start.
Yes.
You want to know. So so here's a piece of intel that if I were Christy or any of you, I would be asking right away. Hey, procurement officer, do you have a short-term or long-term roadmap or forecast of upcoming opportunities? Is this public? Is this something, right? And so that's definitely a good question to ask a procurement officer. Do you all see value in building the relationship this way without ever having to say the word supplier diversity? Because you do know that this is the traditional way, right?
Yep,
This is how it used to be.
exactly.
Yeah. And actually, I personally won all of my corporate contracts this way. It was never through supplier diversity. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you don't need it as a strategy, because I have gotten into many doors, other ways, stages and access to opportunities. But contracting, my early days was good old fashioned relationships. And I think Tangela, you remember us talking about that a little bit with teaching women both ways. I don't know if you're on mute or not, but I know you were passionate about making sure that women understood supplier diversity wasn't their only option as well.
Yes, absolutely. And, one of the things that I would say, I've always tried not to lean in with the supply diversity component or the certifications. And for me, it was always the chief technology officer, chief information officer, or the chief HR officer that I target. But you're dead on, Don Nicole, dead on.
Yeah. I think it's so sometimes conversations are as appropriate as the audience, and we're teaching you that this is a conversation you can have just by building relationships. So if someone could come off mute, because I know we have a little bit of time left, what do you think? So when I send my first email to Victoria, in order to pique her curiosity but not pitch, what might I say? So let's look at her role. Remember, she's Directory Equipment Innovation. And my pretend company, I offer equipment supplies. What could be in my connection request message of 300 character count that would not be pitchy, but would pique her curiosity? What do you all think that could look like? I'm curious to hear some thoughts. Anyone?
Mine are probably too salesy, so I'm waiting to see what somebody else has.
Let's hear what you would do. It's you're brave.
I've done this before, and I usually say something about, I do diversity training through desserts, and ask them, just ask if I can have 15 minutes on their calendar, to explain it or to talk about it, something along that line. That wasn't very well worded, but.
No, that's okay. We're doing it off the cut. Let me tell you what I say. I'll make it quick because I know we're at time. So there's going to be 2 touches you have here. Okay. One touch is what you put in the connection request to make Victoria accept your request. And then the second touch is what you say after she accepts. Now, I'm telling you, I have probably a 90% close track record on LinkedIn. That means anyone I go for business, I've closed 90% of those. When I say close 90%, I mean relationships that have moved to the next level. It hasn't always been money, but when I say close, I get acceptance clearly at 30,000 almost connections, and then I get meetings and things happen. So let me tell you what I do. If I were truly in equipment supply and I wanted to connect with Victoria, I would pique her curiosity and have polite conversation that sounds like this. Hi, Victoria. It's great to connect with you because, like you, I'm an independently owned woman business in equipment supply, and I'd love to follow the initiatives, projects going on with Coca-Cola this year. Really excited to be. So I create excitement. I create excitement by being human. Oh my God, we're both in equipment supply, is what I'm trying to say. I'm an independent woman-owned business in equipment supply, but I've had my eye on the great work Coca-Cola is doing, and I'd love to follow the conferences. I'd love to know what's next. I'd love to do this. Let's connect and maybe consider a meeting, right? Something in that ballpark that just feels human. Once she connects with me, I'm going to like some posts. I'm not going to be phony, because if these are people on your short list that you're really, remember, this is about building a relationship. I'm going to follow some stuff. I'm going to like some stuff. And then within about 15 days of that acceptance, I literally could show you a whole list of my very next touch goes like this. Victoria, again, great to be connected with you. It looks like there might be some opportunity for some synergy. Are you open to taking a quick call with me to see how we might work together? Dawn. And it's a question mark. I swear to you, even though everyone has different techniques, it's the shortest message ever. Are you open to taking a quick call with me to see how we might work together? Question mark. Tasha, hand up.
Spot on. Now my salesperson comes out of me. So
Yes.
Bear with me for a quick moment. Following them gives you the opportunity, like Dawn Nicole said, to engage and find out what it is they have been doing. What are they currently working on? Using some of that information in your introduction that sounds something like, I read, I saw, I heard you say, blah, blah, blah. I would like to know more about that specifically. Gives them that opportunity to connect with you because they now understand you are tracking what they are doing. So the more you can influence what is happening in their universe, the better your chances are of them opening up that door for you. So making certain that you're leading with them and not you is very critical in that first conversation, that first acknowledgement or ask.
Thank you, Taja. I love that. And so part of the reason you're following them is to get all the good insight. So, that's why I said follow first. That's why it's the first thing on here. Follow what they're right. Don't sell, build a relationship. Don't sell. So price shouldn't come up. Don't price. Right? It's just build a relationship, ask for permission, build a relationship, like it, get to know them. That's why my first connection request says, I'm acutely interested in this topic. I've been following you. I see a conference coming up. Would love to stay connected to you. Maybe I'll meet you there. We'll learn more. So like Taja said, use that common language of what they have going on to connect into Victoria. Then once you have her, after liking and engaging, I say, really love what you all are doing. Are you open to a quick call with me so we can see if, how there might be a way to work together? I still haven't sold her anything. I say if and how, and it's okay if we can't. And when I leave that question mark, I get so many calls. Range me, I can keep going. NFL, like literally with the technique I'm giving you. Okay. Even if they say nothing right now, I keep following, I keep engaging. Oh, and I keep finding other people. I don't only stop with that person. Okay, so we are at time. I want to stop sharing and I need to hear from you. Was this helpful today, ladies? And will you be back to Supplier Smart? Let's hear from you.
Yes, this
Yes.
was awesome.
This was
Yeah,
absolutely
it was great.
helpful. Okay, I'm writing feverishly.
This was great. I need the recording. It was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, we'll get the recording. Okay, I'm gonna say